Hello, welcome to another episode of Current Affairs MCQ. Let us begin with a previous day's question. With reference to India-China relations in the 1970s and 1980s, consider the following statements. 1. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the first senior Indian leader to visit Beijing after the 1962 war. 2. Rajiv Gandhi's 1988 visit to China marked a decisive shift by separating normalization of ties from settlement of the boundary dispute. 3. The LAC Plus proposal of 1983 involved Chinese demand for Tawang in exchange for concessions in Ladakh. Which of the above statements is or are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is A. Vajpayee visited Beijing in 1979 as foreign minister, first high-level visit after the 1962 war. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Rajiv Gandhi's 1988 visit broke the past linkage. Ties improved despite border not being settled. Hence, statement 2 is correct. LAC Plus was about India conceding Ladakh areas, not Tawang. Tawang demand came later, mid-1980s. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 1. With reference to psychobiotics, sometimes seen in news, consider the following statements. 1. They refer to probiotics and prebiotics that can provide mental health benefits. 2. A 2020 meta-analysis in Frontiers in Psychiatry found that probiotic supplementation was associated with reduced depressive symptoms. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is C. The term psychobiotics denotes probiotics and prebiotics that benefit mental health via gut-brain axis regulation. Hence, statement 1 is correct. A 2020 meta-analysis in Frontiers in Psychiatry indeed showed probiotic supplementation reduced depressive symptoms, especially in mild to moderate depression. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Question 2. With reference to the 1914 agreement, consider the following statements. 1. The agreement was a treaty signed between representatives of British India and Tibet. 2. The primary outcome of the 1914 agreement was the formal demarcation of the boundary known as the McMahon Line. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is C. The 1914 agreement, referred to as the Shimla Accord, a treaty concerning the status of Tibet and the frontiers between Tibet, China and British India. The agreement was signed by the plenipotentiaries of British India, Sir Henry McMahon, and Tibet, Longchen Shatra. Although representatives from the Republic of China also participated in the negotiations, they ultimately refused to ratify the agreement. Consequently, the British and Tibetan representatives signed it as a bilateral accord, making this statement correct. Hence, statement 1 is correct. A principal objective of the most lasting legacy of the Shimla Accord was the demarcation of the frontier between Tibet and British India. This boundary, which runs for approximately 890 kilometers along the crest of Himalayas, came to be known as the McMahon Line, named after the chief British negotiator. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Question 3. The term data moat, often seen in news, refers to A. Physical infrastructure of global data centers. B. Exclusive access to massive user interaction data. C. Patented algorithms of artificial intelligence. D. A regulatory firewall protecting digital firms. The correct answer is B. A data moat is a competitive advantage built on the exclusive ownership of vast amounts of user data that competitors cannot easily replicate. In Google's case, every search query, click, dwell time on a page, and prompt refinement creates a feedback loop that improves its algorithms. Experts argue that while this might help rivals build traditional search engines, Google's new AI driven answer engines rely on real time user interaction data, keeping its data moat strong in the era of generative AI. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 4. With reference to the India-Nepal boundary issue, consider the following statements. 1. The areas of Lipu Lake, Kalapani and Limpiadhura are claimed by both India and Nepal. 2. In 2020, Nepal published an official political map incorporating these areas into its territory. 3. China has formally supported Nepal's claim over Lipu Lake in its official statements. Which of the above statements is or are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is A. The Lipu Lake Kalapani Limpiadhura tri-junction region is disputed between India and Nepal. Hence, statement 1 is correct. In 2020, Nepal published a new map including these territories in its claim, even incorporating it into its constitution. Hence, statement 2 is correct. China has said Lipu Lake is a traditional border pass and has left the dispute to be resolved bilaterally between India and Nepal, avoiding direct support for Nepal's claim. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 5. With reference to custodial torture in India, consider the following statements. 1. India has signed but not ratified the UN Convention Against Torture. 2. The Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 is the only dedicated anti-torture legislation in India. 3. Scheduled castes face disproportionately higher custodial violence compared to their population share. Which of the above statements is or are correct? A. 1 and 3 only. B. 2 only. C. 1 and 2 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is A. India signed UNCAT in 1997 but has not ratified it yet. This is a major criticism against India at the international level. Ratification would require passing a specific anti-torture law, which has not happened so far. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 mainly established the National Human Rights Commission and state commissions. It is not a dedicated anti-torture law. At present, India has no standalone anti-torture legislation, though torture is indirectly addressed in BNS, BNSS and BSA. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Data shows scheduled castes are overrepresented among victims of custodial violence. For example, in Tamil Nadu, they account for 38.5% of detainees, while their population share is only about 20%. This highlights systemic caste-based discrimination. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 6. Which commission recommended the identification of PVTGs? A. Mandal Commission. B. Dhebar Commission. C. Bhor Commission. D. Sachar Commission. The correct answer is B. The Dhebar Commission, headed by U.N. Dhebar, was appointed to study the problems of scheduled tribes in India. The Commission observed that some tribal groups were more vulnerable than others due to declining or stagnant population, geographical isolation, low literacy, economic backwardness, and use of pre-agrarian practices. Based on its recommendations, the concept of particularly vulnerable tribal groups was introduced to identify tribes that needed special attention and targeted development programs. Mandal Commission focused on backward classes and reservation policy. Bhor Commission focused on healthcare in India. Sachar Committee focused on the socio-economic status of Muslims in India. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 7. Consider the following statements regarding the new GST reforms 2025. 1. The GST Council has reduced the number of main GST slabs to 2, 5% and 18%. 2. A new demerit slab of 40% has been introduced for luxury and sin goods. 3. Life and health insurance premiums have been fully exempted from GST. How many of the statements given above is or are correct? A. Only one. B. Only two. C. All three. D. None. The correct answer is C. Before the reforms, GST had multiple slabs: 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%, with cess on luxury and sin goods. In September 2025, the GST Council rationalized it to two core slabs: 5% for merit goods and 18% for standard goods. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Along with the 5% and 18% slabs, the council created a new demerit slab of 40%. This is applicable to luxury and sin goods such as tobacco, aerated drinks, high-end luxury vehicles. This slab effectively replaces the earlier 28% plus cess structure. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Life and health insurance premiums earlier attracted 18% GST. To reduce financial burden on households, the 2025 reforms fully exempted these services from GST. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Question 8. Recently, graphite was seen in the news. It refers to A. Newly discovered allotrope of carbon with applications in nanotechnology. B. An Israeli-made spyware capable of infiltrating mobile devices and encrypted apps. C. A cryptocurrency project launched by the Bank for International Settlements. D. A NASA mission to study carbon-rich asteroids in the Kuiper Belt. The correct answer is C. Graphite is a sophisticated spyware developed by Paragon Solutions, an Israeli cyber intelligence company. It can be delivered through zero-click exploits, meaning the target does not need to click a link or download a file for the malware to install. Once installed, it can access encrypted apps like WhatsApp, Signal, and Telegram, extract information from cloud backups, remotely activate microphones and cameras, allowing live surveillance. It is in the news as the US Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency obtained access to graphite spyware, sparking concerns over privacy, civil liberties, and human rights misuse. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Question 9. With reference to Majorana particles, sometimes seen in the news, consider the following statements. 1. Majorana particles are theoretical entities that are their own antiparticles, first proposed by Ettore Majorana in the 1930s. 2. In recent experiments, certain quasi-particles in superconducting materials have been found to behave like Majorana modes. 3. The potential use of Majorana modes in quantum computing lies in their ability to reduce decoherence and enhance stability of qubits. How many of the statements given above is or are correct? A. Only one. B. Only two. C. All three. D. None. The correct answer is C. Ettore Majorana proposed particles that are indistinguishable from their antiparticles, unlike electrons or protons. Hence, statement 1 is correct. While fundamental Majorana particles haven't been conclusively detected in high energy physics, quasi-particles in certain superconductors at near absolute zero show behavior consistent with the Majorana modes. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Majorana modes are promising for fault-tolerant quantum computing because they allow information to be stored in spatially separated states, making qubits more resistant to decoherence, the collapse of quantum superposition. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Question 10. With reference to the concept of integrated theatre command in India, consider the following statements. 1. An ITC is a unified structure where assets from the Army, Navy, and Air Force operate under a single commander from a designated geographical area. 2. The proposed Indian ITCs include Northern, Western, and Maritime commands with their headquarters at Lucknow, Jaipur, and Thiruvananthapuram respectively. 3. The Kargil Review Committee has suggested creation of ITCs along with the post of Chief of Defence Staff. How many of the statements given above are correct? A. Only one. B. Only two. C. All three, D. None. The correct answer is C. An integrated theatre command unifies Army, Navy, and Air Force assets under a single commander for a theatre, ensures faster decision making, synergy, and avoids duplication. Hence, statement 1 is correct. Proposed ITCs in India: Northern Theatre Command, countering China; Western Theatre Command, countering Pakistan; Maritime Theatre Command, overseeing Indian Ocean operations. Hence, statement 2 is correct. The Kargil Review Committee stressed the need for CDS and ITCs to fix inter-service coordination gaps noticed during the 1999 war. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Now, let us look at a practice question. Consider the following statements about the festival of Onam. 1. It is a harvest festival of Kerala celebrated in honor of the homecoming of King Mahabali. 2. The festival is observed in the month of Chinkam in the Malayalam calendar. 3. Celebrations include Vallamkalli, Pulikalli, and the grand Onam Sadhya feast. 4. In the legend associated with Onam, King Mahabali is remembered as a benevolent ruler, unlike the usual portrayal of Asuras. How many of the above statements are correct? A. Only 1, B. Only 2, C. Only 3, D. All 4. Please provide your answers in the comment section.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.